Hello and happy new year. Before I talk about my favorite beauty products of 2020, Chloe and I just wanted to say happy new year. We hope you're having a great start to the new year. She really wants to say hello. Don't you, Chloe? Hi. Hi. Hello, everyone. Chloe, can you say hi? Yeah. Hi. Anyway, I got her settled down a little bit, but obviously 2020 has been a weird and strange, difficult year, but we're in 2021 and I hope you guys are having a great start to the new year, and I hope this year is gonna be probably similar to last year, at least at the beginning, but hopefully it improves and everything kind of just goes back to normal. Right, Chloe? Right? Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about beauty products. It is time for our annual tradition where we look back at the past year and talk about all of the new beauty products that I have discovered and that I've been loving. And usually I would actually talk about all the new products, but 2020 was this unprecedented anomaly where I barely left the house, let alone did makeup shopping. So there are some new things, but there's also just some things that have already existed in my collection that I've been using this past year. So today I'm gonna get ready using a mix of some new products, but mostly some familiar products. Okay, let's start with primer. I only bought one new primer this past year, face primer that is, and it's the Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. And I wanted to like this a lot because I do actually quite enjoy the eye cream. But I found that depending on what base I was using over this, it could sometimes pill. And I don't know why, because when you apply this, it feels like it sinks in really nicely on the skin, or in the skin, on the skin, and it feels great on, but then once you start layering things on top of it, then it just starts to like cake and peel, which is totally bizarre. It's really weird too because it's not on every foundation, but it's on enough of them where I really noticed it. So I can't say I really love that this past year. So I've been just gravitating towards primers that I already had and that I've been loving. So the Glossier Futuredew is one of them. I think I mentioned this in 2019. Yeah, for my 2019 favorites, because I like it and I've still been using it. I also had like this little cute mini bottle of it, which is adorable. This came in a set that Glossier released, which I think they re-released this year. It's half a fluid ounce, so it's half a full-size bottle, but yeah, I love it. It'd be great for travel once we can do that. The other one I've been trying to use up is the Dior Backstage Face&Body Primer, just because, yeah, I want to use it up and that's it. I mean, I like the primer and I want to use it up. Today I'm going to use a combination of the Futuredew and probably also the Dior. It's winter now, so my skin feels a little bit drier than it normally does. As you can see, the Futuredew does give your skin a really shiny, dewy finish, but once you add products on top of it, it really tones it down. And you still get this like natural glow to the skin, but not as shiny. I'm adding a little bit of the Backstage primer, just kind of in the areas where I usually add a little bit more product and where I get a little bit shinier. So let's talk about the base. My most used base this past year is probably the Chantecaille Just Skin or the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint, just because they're really easy to apply and they're effortless. So it's just kind of like an everyday when I'm at home and I just want like a quick easy face. Even if I'm going out and just a quick easy face, this is what I use. And it wears relatively well under a mask, which is a factor now that I consider when I'm choosing a base, which, you know, who knew? I also was trying to use up the Dior Backstage foundation, which I'm not sure if you can tell, but I put a fairly decent sized dent in this. It's probably, well, not quite halfway through, but pretty close. So this one I was using on the days where I wanted a little bit more coverage, but my new foundation purchase and my only foundation purchase this past year was the Rare Beauty foundation, which is a whole line that launched in 2020. And I really enjoy this foundation actually. It's very fluid. It's more of a medium coverage. it doesn't make my T-zone look really oily. It doesn't accentuate my dry patches. So it's just like a really great everyday foundation if you want a little bit more coverage. Like I said, these were my most used, probably even more so than Chantecaille Just Skin, but it's hard for me to really like recommend this and not necessarily promote it, but encourage people to buy it because there's such a limited shade range. I think there's like 6 or 7 shades, and this is Wheat, which is I think the darkest shade that they have. And you know my skin tone, and like this is a very like medium skin tone. So the fact that if you have a deeper skin tone than me, then you're not going to be able to use this product is really off-putting, and it's probably the main reason I don't talk about it as much, or I don't showcase it as much in videos. The Rare Beauty though comes I think in 40 shades. So there's bound to be a shade for like 99% of the skin tones out there, which is obviously much easier to recommend to you guys. It does come with a doe foot, and I don't actually apply probably too much of this. I don't think you really need that much, and also it's fairly buildable. So if you want more full coverage, then you can do that. It also comes with a matching concealer. So if you do want like extra coverage, you can use the concealer, not just under the eyes, but also on the skin. I'm currently using the Juno Co Sponge, which is nice. I've had this sponge for a couple of years now, and it's quite different than your typical beauty sponge because it's microfiber and it's not porous like a beauty blender or the Real Technique sponge. It doesn't absorb as much product. A lot of the product just kind of sits on top of the sponge, which means it does give you just a fuller coverage look. My most used concealers this past year is probably a tie between the Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless 24-Hour Concealer and the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. And I was using these a lot because I was just trying to use them up. The Born This Way concealer is great, full coverage, wears well throughout the day. But between the two, I probably am gravitating more towards the Smashbox just because it gives a more natural finish. This is definitely like more of a full coverage finish. So when you have it on, it really does like look like you have concealer on. My new concealer discovery though is the Rare Beauty concealer. I bought the foundation and concealer at the same time, and they're both in 280N. You can see how the concealer is just like a tad lighter though than the foundation. So they're almost made for under the eyes, not so much spot concealing, because they are like a little bit lighter. I do like this for under the eyes. It's okay for spot concealing, although this shade is a little bit light, so I probably would go down a shade for the face in the concealer. This is the Sephora Pro Airbrush Detail number 57. This is the older packaging. They have released like a new version of these brushes, all of the Sephora collection brushes. They didn't change the bristles, I don't think, just the packaging, so the handle and the ferrule. This is still one of my favorite concealer brushes. I actually quite like the concealer from Rare Beauty. I have a couple of like deep set lines under my eyes, but I don't find that this concealer accentuates them too much, and the concealer also wears well under the eyes. You know, it doesn't crease, and for the most part it gives my under eyes like a really nice coverage. Not a full coverage per se, but enough coverage that it brightens it. I wish I could tell you that I've been using a new powder to set my face, but I'm still trying to use up this Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Complexion Powder. I haven't really been able to use it as much this past year, but I'm still working away at trying to use it, and I didn't purchase any new powders this past year, so I have just been using this, and I just use it under the eyes. I still like it, I just wouldn't repurchase it. Like I said, I haven't been buying too much makeup this past year, but I still have a couple of new products, mainly color cosmetics. So one is the bronzer from Fenty Beauty. So they came out with this earlier this year, like pretty much like the first quarter of the year, I think. And I picked it up because I really like the powder version. So I decided to go for the cream. And this is in number 3 Macchiato. And I really like this bronzer. I've always loved cream products, but I've just been especially loving them this past year just because they're really easy and effortless to put on. And they wear surprisingly well under masks, which you'd think that they wouldn't, but I actually find that they do wear a little bit better on me than powder. I find that powder, as soon as you put a mask on top of it, the mask really disturbs the powder on your skin, but not so much cream. And also it's a lot easier to blend cream products out if there is a smudge, because I mean, it's just a malleable product, right? So I have been really loving cream products. This is the Real Techniques Instapop cheek brush, and that is what I have been using for the bronzer. I really like these cream bronzers because as far as I can tell, there's no shimmer in any of them. So they're just like a really great matte cream bronzer. So they're great for like contouring. I know they have like a little bit of a grayer shade that you can use for contouring. They're great for like warming up the skin. And you can always just add a highlighter on top if you want more of like a shimmery or dewy effect. I picked up a couple of blushes this past year. So one is the Tower 28 Beach Please Cream Blush in Magic Hour. Tower 28, I feel like came out of nowhere this past year. Maybe it's been around for a little bit longer, but they came out with just a handful of products, but I've heard good things about all of them. So I've only tried the blush from them. They also have actually a cream bronzer, but I had the Fenty one, so I didn't want to get another one. But I love this blush. It's really pretty. They only have 3 shades of this, so I got, like I said, Magic Hour. And it's just like, the tone is like perfectly me. I love the tone of this. It wears really well. It's easy to blend. It layers well over other products. It also gives your skin like this really pretty glow, and it's not, like I said, shimmery, but it still gives your skin like a really pretty glow, and I love the color of this. It's, like I said, called Magic Hour. The other blush I picked up this past year was the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in At Night. I don't have a blush quite like this, and it's super, super pretty. It's definitely like a rosy berry tone mixed in with like a really pretty like champagne. And yeah, I just really love this blush, but I am a huge fan of the Hourglass blushes. I also did want to do an honorable mention to the Glossier Cloud Paints, because this is pretty much the blush that I've been mainly gravitating towards. Like I said, cream products surprisingly wear well under masks, and these are no exception, especially because these dry down a little bit. So once they're on, they're pretty much on for the majority of the day. And the 2 shades that I've been really loving is Storm and Dusk. Now for highlighter, I only got one highlighter this past year, and it's the By Mario Master Secret Glow highlighter in Expensive. So again, this is a new brand in 2020. It just came out like the latter half of 2020. I can't really speak on the rest of his brand, but I really enjoyed this particular highlighter, and it looks like nothing. It's basically just a clear highlighter, like a gel cream highlighter. And I love it because it just gives your skin a beautiful glow. I will say that this one doesn't wear as well throughout the day, but you know, it sits really nicely on top of your base. At first I didn't think it would, because when you feel it, it feels really sticky, and it just feels like it would pull up all of the makeup that you're wearing, so your cream blush and bronzer and your foundation, but it actually wears really well over your existing products that you have on your skin. The only thing I would say though is when you're dipping your finger into the pan, make sure you either use a different finger each time, or you wipe your hand before you dip in again, because if you are wearing something on your skin, it will transfer if you double dip. So that's my only recommendation. Otherwise you won't get like such a clean pan. Hopefully you can tell the difference here, but look at this really beautiful shiny glow. And because it doesn't have any shimmer, just like the way it looks in person looks so natural for some reason. I wish I could tell you that I wore eyeshadow this past year, but I think I can count on one hand the number of times I wore eyeshadow, and it's like the very, very beginning of the year. For pretty much since February till now, I haven't been wearing eyeshadow throughout the year. If I do wear something, it's usually an eyeliner, and this is one of my favorites actually that I've been using. This is actually the Glossier Play Color Slide in Pretty Penny. This one they're discontinuing soon, in a couple of days actually, so won't be able to get this anymore, but on the days where I do want like a little bit of something, I usually wear, you know, an eyeliner. I don't really put too much eyeliner on. I just do like a really quick line. I don't even wing it out. It's just to add a little bit of definition. So for mascara, I've been really loving the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. For some reason, I always thought it was unlimited. But I like this. It is like a tubing mascara. It's very similar actually to the Glossier Lash Slick, but it's just upped up a notch. It definitely is more noticeable on the lashes than the Glossier Lash Slick. It definitely coats the lashes a little bit more and really darkens them and thickens them and also lengthens them a little. I have really like non-existent lashes, so the fact that this gives me a lot more definition is really impressive. I've been doing the same thing on my brows as I've been doing for the past like couple of years, and that is I've been using the Glossier Boy Brow, and I've also been like playing around with the Brow Flick, which, you know, it's still okay. I still can't quite get it to like work for me the way other people can, but it has not stopped me from trying. I haven't picked up any new setting sprays. This is the Continuous Setting Mist from Morphe, the original one. I tried the holiday edition and the fragrance is way too strong for me. Okay, last thing I want to talk about are lip products. Now I have a couple of new products, but I'm still really loving the Chantecaille lip veil in Baobab. And that's probably when I do want a little bit more of a bolder lip color, that's the one I've been gravitating towards. The three that I kind of discovered this past year and some new things, obviously new launches. One is the Glow Recipe Lip Pop. This is actually a brand new tube of it because I just picked it up and I opened it, and this is actually what I have on my lips right now. I put it on before I started the video. It just gives your lips like this really nice like light pink hue, and it has a little bit of an exfoliating factor to it too, which is nice. The Sephora Jelly Melt, this actually works really well under a mask as long as you dab off the excess once it dries down a little bit. And then this is probably my new favorite product, although I can't really wear it that much unless I know for sure I'm not going to be like putting a mask on and off. It's the Fenty cream, or Fenty Gloss Bomb cream, and this is in Fenty Glow, which is the same shade that they have in the regular or the original Gloss Bomb. I love this a lot. I love the color of it, the formulation of it, but like I said, it's not something that I wear that often, because if I'm gonna be like wearing a mask regularly throughout the day, you know, I have to wipe this off, put a different lip balm on to wear the mask, and then when I take the mask off I could reapply it. But it's just like a lot of effort because this is a cream product, so it doesn't dry down. It's basically a cream lip gloss, but it's really pretty. I love the color, and again, the formulation is so nice. So those were the products that I discovered, have been using, and have been loving this past year. A lot of it, again, you have seen before, and very limited number of new products that have actually accumulated this past year. And it kind of made me realize just like how much makeup I already have in my collection. This past year, I've been really trying to shop my stash a little bit more, and it's been sort of fun to go through my makeup collection, because you know, you can't go to Sephora and just swatch makeup anymore, so it's just been fun to do that at home. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this favorites video where I talk about all of the other things that I've been loving this past year. So hair tools, maybe skincare, just some random things that I've discovered either for home or, you know, just things like that. Before you go, you'll have to let me know what products you have been loving this past year. Did you even buy anything new makeup wise this past year? I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. I've decided that that's a plug that I'm gonna try to remember to do at the end of my videos, because I can never remember to talk about that stuff. But don't forget to subscribe, and also like this video if you enjoyed the content. I'm not a huge self-promoter, but I wanted to have a little bit more cohesiveness to my videos and some consistency from video to video, so I've decided that I'm just gonna do a little plug at the end of each video. So don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like this if you did enjoy it. And again, let me know what were your favorites this past year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.